I recently read what the president of Yeshiva University, Ari Berman, cited a midrash that says, Sifra ve'seifa yardu kruchim min hashamayim, that the book and the sword came one into the other, they descended from heaven. The sword and the book. One of my friends, Yerachmiel Barirka, quoted the same source also. And it made me think that this is so appropriate for our times. Our times when we face so many difficulties, maybe we should remember that. You know, the Mount Sinai, is also called Chorev in Hebrew. Chorev is the same root as Cherev. Cherev means sword. And on the one hand, you have the Torah. On the other hand, you have the sword. How can you react? How can you fight what happened October 7th last year? An aggression, brutal, savage, unimaginable since the Holocaust occurred then. What are you going to fight with them? With ideas? I think that force has to encounter force. You must be able to respond with greater force against evil forces. That's why you have to prepare yourself. I realize that in the long run, force cannot be the rule of the world, of humanity. In the long run, I think it is ideas. You know, in Judaism it says, Eilu devarim she'ein lahem shiur. These are things that have no limit. What is the most important of them? Talmud Torah, the study of Torah. And those ideas is really what is going to change this world. Look at what we did, what Abraham did with his idea of one God. He revolutionized the entire world. To this day, we feel the effects of that. To this day, we feel the effects of the Ten Commandments. But there are episodes in life that require a certain response. You can't respond, and I'm going to quote for the nth time. Primo Levi, survivor of the Second World War, said, one of the things he learned in the Second World War was, if somebody points a gun at you and says, I'm going to kill you, believe him. Unfortunately, this is the world in which we live in. So we have to become stronger. You know, the Nazis did something horrible. There were no judgment. You were born Jewish, that's it. How can you fight that? With ideas? Impossible at the time. You had to fight it with force. Unfortunately, the Jewish people didn't have the force during the Second World War to respond to what the Nazis did. And those that did have force had other agendas. They didn't have the Jewish people in the forefront of their worries. Something altogether different. But nowadays there's a state of Israel. And the state of Israel has to be strong in order to be able to respond with greater force when they're attacked with force. But on the other hand, we must remember that this world cannot be ruled by force. This is not what is going to bring about salvation for the world. We have to know that ideas are the ones that are going to influence other people. And I think that Israel has to remain a light for other nations. Right now we're involved in a war, and you have to respond with force. There is no other way. But on the other hand, we must remember that in the long run, that's not the path we want to choose for the Jewish people. That is not the path for the world. The path for the world is ideas, I repeat once again, thinking, being empathetic toward the needs of other people, compassionate. That is what is going to bring a better future for the entire world. So I don't want to minimize the importance of the sword. There's a time when the sword must be used, and I think that this is a time for the Jewish people. But I want us to remember that this is not the end all. Remember, Hamas has a plan. Their plan is the elimination of Israel. They don't want a state next to the Jewish state. They want a state instead of the Jewish state. How do you fight that? They're obsessed with that. You have to make sure that they are not in government, that they do not rule. It will take time before ideas permeate into the people, because many have been already poisoned by these ideas, unfortunately. So I repeat once again, ideas are the ones that eventually must triumph. But in the meantime, maybe force is necessary. So don't say that force cannot be used, that you're a pacifist, that you are going to show the other cheek. No, that is not the right attitude. When somebody wants to kill you, you have to make sure that he does not fulfill what he wants to do. You have to fight it with all means necessary. But eventually, we must remember that our ideas and principles that really are going to be the salvation of humanity.